How to get a work permit and job. In the United States, there are two kinds of work permits. One is a youth work permit, which teens under age 18 typically must obtain before working a job. You can apply by contacting your guidance counselor or finding your state's office. Another work permit is given by the U.S. federal government to immigrants who are not yet green card holders or naturalized citizens. Canada also awards work permits to non-citizens in some situations. In Canada, you'll need to have a job offer in hand before applying for the permit. Obtaining a youth work permit and job. Read your state's law. In the U.S., each state sets its own rules regarding youth permits. You should find your state's rules by typing youth work permit and then your state into a search engine. Look for a state government website. You might also want to talk to a guidance counselor at school. Tell them, "Hey, Mr. Jones, I'm thinking of getting a summer job. Do you know where I can find information?" They should be able to point you in the right direction. Check age requirements. Before applying, make sure that you are old enough. For example, your state will have a minimum age limit. In Massachusetts, the minimum age is 14. Also check whether you need a permit at all. In Nevada, you don't need a work permit if you are at least 14 years of age. T2, greater than some states might exempt you if you have already graduated high school. For example, in California, you don't need a work permit if you've already graduated or received a certificate of proficiency. Also check whether you need a permit at all. In Nevada, you don't need a work permit if you are at least 14 years of age. Some states might exempt you if you have already graduated high school. For example, in California, you don't need a work permit if you've already graduated or received a certificate of proficiency. Understand limitations on work you can do. Most states will limit the number of hours you can work. They may also limit when you can work. You should understand these limitations before you begin working. For example, in Massachusetts, you are limited to working a maximum of 18 hours a week when school is in session. You can only work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. during the school year and 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. when school is not in session. You'll also be limited in the kinds of work you can do. Certain jobs are considered hazardous and minors are prohibited from working them. There may be other restrictions for especially young workers. Check with your state's labor office. Gather required documents. Your state may request certain documents before issuing the permit. You should ask ahead of time what documents you will need to submit, which will vary depending on your state. In Wisconsin, for example, you must submit the following: proof of age, such as your birth certificate, your social security card, consent from your parents or guardians, letter from your employer on letterhead, identify the job duties and hours, work permit fee. Ask your parents for permission. You'll need your parents to sign off on the work permit, so you should ask them if you can work. Try to have several reasons why getting a job will be beneficial. For example, consider the following: explain why you want the money. You can tell your parents, "If I work, then I'll be able to buy my new school clothes and supplies. This will help me learn how to budget." Tell them what you hope to learn. Say, "I've never worked before, and I think this is a good way to learn how to be in a team with other people. I'll learn important people skills." Tell them you are bored. Explain to your parents that you'll only be sitting at home if you don't work. By working, you'll make productive use of your time. Apply for the permit. There should be an application you can fill out. Check your state's website for where you can get the form. In some states, you can get one from your superintendent of schools or a guidance counselor. In other states, you must contact work permit offices. Complete the application neatly. If your handwriting is messy, then try to type the application. Keep a copy of the permit application for your records and then submit it to the required person. Ask how you'll receive the permit. In some states, you can print it off and then sign it. In other states, you might have to pick it up in person. Apply for jobs. Typical teen jobs include working in a fast food restaurant, babysitting, and working in camps and hotels. However, you should think about what interests you and, of course, what businesses are hiring where you live. Depending on your state, you might need a job offer in hand before you even apply for the work permit. Check your state's rules. You might think about writing a resume. Although not required for most jobs teens get, it is a way to stand out. Try to apply in as many places as possible. If you must apply in person, then wear neat, conservative clothes. Cut your hair and nails so that you look professional. If you get an interview, then take it seriously. Answer all questions honestly and mail or deliver a thank you note to whoever interviewed you. Obtain a new permit. If you switch jobs, then you might need to get a new work permit. You should check with your state to see. Don't start working at a new job until you find out whether you need a new permit.